Chinese government doing too much, interfere too much in the business and education and also scientific research and other areas.
Do you fear a commercial residential real estate bubble?
Yes, to some extent. We waste a lot of money, a lot of materials to build buildings, highways and bridges. Then we destroy that for this reason or that reason. China maybe is very good for the middle school and primary school. But for the university and the college, that level, the US and the UK is very strong.
You think that the real estate bubble, in your judgment, will not burst?
If we, doing things like soft landing,
and how will you achieve that?
That means we cannot, launch the austerity, projects or measures too quickly, too heavily.
What do you admire most about America?
I think this is a
观众朋友们，大家好。本期节目跟大家分享的人物采访是中国经济金融界曾经的掌舵者郭树清在2011年9月在美国接受查理罗斯的采访视频。那在观看之前呢，先给大家简单介绍一下郭树清。郭树清的人生有3大标签。第一，他是王岐山的核心嫡系，作为一个搞哲学和马克思主义、无任何经济学术背景的官员，早年进入国家经济体制改革委员会，因结识并受到王岐山的赏识，一路从一个普通的研究员干到中国正部级经济界的最高话事人。不得不说郭树清是一位官运亨通的人。他做过中国人民银行党委书记、国家外汇局局长、中国建设银行董事长、证监会、保监会、银监会3会的主席。期间呢，还担任过4年的山东省省长。他的这一路升迁刚好与王岐山的升迁保持高度的一致，是王岐山核心圈层的绝对马仔。他的第2个标签呢，就是他推出的3道红线政策，导致的后果就是直接干翻了中国房地产，吹灭了中国经济增长的引擎。2020年，时任中国人民银行党委书记、银保监会主席的郭树清推出3道红线新规，那目的在于调控房地产行业，旨在去除中国金融体系当中最大的灰犀牛。然而呢，几年下来，中国房地产行业全面衰退，经济陷入前所未有的萧条，3道红线政策呢备受争议。那它的第3个标签呢，就是随着王岐山的马仔一个一个落马，大家普遍认为郭树清大概也会步后尘，因此什么时候落马就一直成为大家心目当中关心的话题。那时政媒体呢也一直关注着郭树清的动向。那随着王岐山的逝世目前郭树清担任闲职，在14届全国人大财经委员会当中担任副主任委员。接受采访的时候，郭树清正在王岐山的老巢中国建设银行担任董事长和党委书记。由于郭树清曾经在80年代赴牛津大学做过访问学者，有一定的英文基础，因此整个采访他全程用英语进行，没有使用任何翻译。那接下来我们就来一起欣赏一下郭树清的采访。
Tell me how you see China's role in the economic world.
At the moment, I think that China is, accounts for, in terms of exchange rate, is 9% of the total GDP in the world. But if in terms of PPP, the purchasing power parity, according to the World Bank and IMF, that should be double. That means 18% just because in the past few years the Chinese economy grows very fast, so in terms of incremental figures, China accounts for a lot.
And China is now trying to move from a export economy to a consumption economy. Give us a sense of how fast that will develop and what it will mean for the rest of the world.
I think that in the past time that we have misunderstanding about China's economy is just dominated by the export investment. We are largest consumption economy in the world in terms of housing, the clothing and everything. At the moment, we have automobile is number 1.
Yes.
We quite likely last year we got 18 million vehicles sold to the people, but this year quite likely is 20 million. So it's definitely number one. And in the food and beverage and other things, especially the housing, we consumed something like the total, the half of the total steel and half of the total cement in China. That's just
half of the total steel in China that you make is consumed domestically.
Yes. Let's build housing, then we should calculate in the consumption of the housing. Why that's because we in China we do not have the market rent and do not have that statistic figures about the self-owned housing. That should be imputed rent or rent equivalent. That's equal to 30% in this country of the total GDP, but in China it's 3% calculated. So under-report the consumption.
But would you disagree with the idea that it's important for, in the future of the two economies, China and America, for America to become more of a saving economy and for China to become more of a consuming economy? Because the development of a middle class in China will serve not only Chinese manufacturers, but also American manufacturers and others.
I think that the economy is different and the consumption is different in two categories. First is about goods. There's merchandise goods, consumer goods. The second is about service. There's also production and the consumption. Right. In this country, it's more than 70% is services, but in China, it's more than 40% is services.
40% of the economy is a service economy.
Yes, services.
Yeah.
So that's different. And I mentioned that the housing rent is under-reported. That's mainly a service. So quite likely, China is increased very much in both sides in the merchandise goods, consumer goods, and also the services. So that can be very potential.
So in the last 2 weeks, I've seen reports that the Chinese economy may be slowing down.
Yes.
Do you believe that?
Actually, already a slowdown compared with the previous years. Previous years we got more than 10%, but quite likely this year.
Be 8?
Yes, it's 9. 9 point something like that.
Why is that happening, and does it worry you?
I don't think that we control that the growth rate because we have a much higher inflation rate. At the moment, we got the first 8 months averagely we have 5.6 CPI.
Are you concerned?
Yes, the whole country concerned
about the inflation.
Yes.
And how do you believe you can attack inflation?
Actually, we think that we already see some, positive features at the moment. The figures in August is lower than the previous months, and also because we have the agriculture harvest this year.
Yes, agricultural harvest.
Yes, and also we got the international commodity market. Nowadays prices are going down compared with the previous months.
Do you fear a commercial, residential real estate bubble?
Yes, to some extent, but the real estate market is different from city to city. So in the coastline cities, the price is going very fast, but in the inland there's a slowdown, a little bit. But recent years, even in the inland area, the housing price is also going very fast. So we worry about that. But so they control the lending to that sector, especially to the developer. But for the ordinary people, when they buy the first housing, our bank is provided the lending most of them, so more than 90% is the first time buy the house, and that's it. They live themselves, so not for the speculation.
It is said by many outside China that it's crucial for China to have the economic growth it does because it is the best way to diffuse any social tension between rural and urban, between coastline and center city.
I think it's quite serious, especially for the conflict or disparity between the urban and the rural. The rural people, migrant workers nowadays working in the urban areas, they paid much less than the people, doing the same job. They have the residential status in the city. If we put all the social security and other things together, maybe the rural, migrant workers just got 1/3. So and also they are not covered by the social security system and housing system program.
It has often been said also that part of the reason that China was a saving economy, rather than a consumption economy, was that people did not have that safety net that existed in the United States, say.
Of course, they
So
save.
people were worried about that, so therefore they save more.
Yeah, they save a lot, but how much, in real terms, in absolute terms, that depends on how much you got your income. If the income is just several hundred yuan per month, even the savings rate is 50%. It's just 200 or 300. It's not very much.
You've had an interesting career, both in terms of economic planning. You spent in the 80s, spent a couple of years at Oxford. So you know the world. What do you think the biggest misperception about China is among the people that you know?
Quite a lot. People, in the world first think that China is, is going to become the number one, surpass of the U.S. And
that's not a misperception.
Yes, quite likely.
Your aggregate economy will be larger than our economy.
Yes, quite likely.
Probably in 15 years.
Yeah, maybe not that long, because in terms of PPP question, become the number one. But in terms of per capita income,
right, that's the big difference.
Yes, and also because the economy, why we say the U.S. economy still is very competitive, because you are mainly innovation-driven economy, but China is still an industrialized economy.
But is it part of the goal that you think ought to be for China to make it an innovative economy?
We need time to strengthen our human capital. That's take a long time. I know every country talking about education and education reform, even this country.
Exactly. Right.
If you compare with just a very basic, ability, about reading and mathematics, science, China maybe is very good for the middle school and primary school, but for the university and the college, that level, the U.S. and the U.K. is very strong.
The pool of talent you have among the young people is significantly better than it's ever been before, because they want to be in China, because they get wonderful educations outside of China.
Yes.
But now they want to come back because there's excitement about what China can be and is becoming.
At the moment, we see some, very well-educated people, in domestic institutions or foreign universities, colleges. But unfortunately, we do not see very many creative, talents. That's I
hear you. And this is a very important point. And how do you change that? Creating,
we have to
innovative talent.
We have to change, reform the education system thoroughly, and also the scientific research organization system. Well, that scientific research system in China still is a very traditional Soviet one.
Yes.
That's a very big national, system for that, and Academy of Sciences, Academy of Social Sciences. So that kind of organization.
So that's a huge challenge.
Yes.
The sense of making sure, because you are developing great technology companies.
Yes. Yes, we develop that, and we need also to protect the intellectual property. That's not for the foreigners, but just for the other
for young
interests.
There is the question of always comes up a sense of control. Is it on the part of the government too much of an effort to exercise control over everything?
Yes. I think that in general, say, the Chinese government is doing too much, interfere too much in the business and education and also scientific research and other areas. But we have some advantages in some areas, like social management. But even in that area, we need some thoroughly reform, restructuring.
And you can say that with no fear of worrying that somehow somebody else, and as important as you are, will object to you saying that.
We have different views. That's good. You know, that means we can discuss that. Like to take our bank's reform. In the past time, we are totally 100% owned by the state government. But nowadays, we have owned by the many institutions around the world, and also the individuals in Hong Kong and everywhere. So we have a very mixed structure that have been proved very successful. The ownership is mixed. So the board of directors come from all over the world, and you have different views. You have some sometimes debates. I think that makes sense, progress.
So you are saying that in China, what the West ought to understand, and the emerging world ought to understand as well, wherever it is, in whatever hemisphere, ought to understand that while China, that there is within China at the highest levels of business and academic and government, a debate constantly about how we can achieve and become all that we have the potential to become.
Yes. We encourage that, and from the top level from the bottom level, we talking many years about to be an innovative country, innovative organization. So we have to do that.
What do you admire most about America?
I think this is research and education, especially study. Research.
These great universities are also centers of research and scientific inquiry.
Yes. Academic,
Sorry.
Academic.
The academic.
And all that.
And what do you? How are you? What's the most significant change China has taken place in China over the last 10 years?
I think in the past 10 years, I think it's a very big result for the whole country. People realize, both governments and enterprises, individuals, and academics and economists, and we should develop a sustainable, growth pattern for the coming futures. Otherwise, we cannot last for long.
If you don't make sure that the economic growth is sustainable.
Yes.
Sustainable at what level?
I think first is we cannot consume the energy.
That's the big question.
Yes, like the U.S. and Europe in the past time. And in the near future, we already see that, we waste a lot of money, a lot of materials to build buildings, highways, and bridges. Then we destroy that for this reason or that reason. So that waste a lot in China.
What do you worry about?
About China's economy? I think at the moment, inflation is still very, it's serious.
And the threat of inflation is felt most in food.
Yes, the food, because at the moment, because the basket for that index, food occupied a much higher weight. But I think that's also the housing rent should have a much higher share in that basket. That's also very high.
Just to make sure I understood you, you think that the real estate bubble, in your judgment, will not burst?
If we, doing things like soft landing,
and how will you achieve that?
that means we cannot, launch the austerity, projects or measures too quickly, too heavily. So we allow that, the growth rate become, lower and lower, through some times.
What do you fear will happen in Europe? And if there is a contagion, will it have a huge impact on the global economy?
I think Europeans' problem actually is a very limited problem. There's several small countries have, overspending, got a very heavy
Greece and Italy and Portugal.
Yeah. If all the European countries, reach agreements or common sense to deal with that, to fight with that, I think that's very easily to solve, because Greece just accounts for 2.6 of the total economy, in Europe, and the Europeans still have very high value-added industries and services. So I think that the fundamental, economic fundamental conditions still is good. So I don't think that's a big problem. Big problem is political.
Will state capitalism in 15 years in China look different than it looks today?
When was 50 years?
50 years. It'll take 50 years.
I'll take 50 years. I mean, before the reform?
Yes.
Yes. The planning commission, plan economy, right?
Yes.
Of course, it's not very efficient. Resource allocation is not very good. Not through the market.
Well, but here's my point. My point, and you're an economist, and I'm not, clearly. My point is that there are some arguments made today that the Chinese model of state capitalism may for some people be the model that they aspire to, rather than the political and economic model in the United States. Mm-hmm. That there may be a debate about which is best and most efficient.
I think this can not compare very simply, because we have totally different conditions from the U.S. and China. China is a traditional agricultural society.
Yes.
You do not have so much modern industries. Agriculture even got overpopulated conditions. So it's quite different, I think.
As you go from generation to generation in leadership, how do you chart the evolution there of those leaders? Are they moving in a certain direction?
Yes. I think the leadership is much more close to the reality.
More closer to the reality.
Yes. Become more pragmatic, more, close to the real conditions, and also put the economic affairs as very much basic issues.
And if there is a great debate in China today about its future, what would it be?
I think it's about the social justice, and that means not only the economic, including first economic income distribution, and also political, social, equality, and so on.
And is human rights changing?
Yes, of course, changing very much. Nowadays, people enjoy it very much,
More so. Even though there are significant cases that we all see and say, that get worldwide attention, as you know, whether it's an artist or whether it's a Nobel recipient.
If you use Western countries, standard, that of course is still different,
Right.
But
if you look at your mark as the change that's taken place.
Yes, of course, yes, definitely. Yeah.
It's a pleasure to have you on this program. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.